Hey man, what are you doing?
Trying to custom fit the contents of this gun case.
What all you got in there?
Glad you asked. Ammo, lots of boxes of ammo. California Duster, these things are great. More ammo. Secret identity kit. You never know. More ammo. Measurement device. Lantern. Grappling hook. Another case. I think I can get all that in there. Sling. Bipod. And a rear bag.
What about the gun?
Oh yeah. And a gun. Hey guys, welcome to Gear Tasting. Today I wanted to talk about what I'm going to do with my gun now that I have it. So I had to get a case for it, and what I wanted to do was talk about how to custom cut some foam. So the normal way that you can handle foam whenever you get a Pelican case or something like that is you can use a Sharpie, you can trace around the object that you're cutting out, and you can use an X-Acto knife or some other type of utility knife to cut around the shape. And it always, in my opinion, whenever I've tried to use that with just regular foam, it always comes out looking like crap. There are companies out there that you can custom order foam from, and that's a great option, but it costs a lot. You have to, lay everything out for them in advance, and I've never actually undertaken that process, so I can't really speak to how that works. But I know there are companies out there that will make custom foam inserts for you and whatever you're organizing in a case. What I wanted to talk about today is an option that I'm trying for the first time, and I had seen this, I don't remember, it had nothing to do with the tactical industry, but this is called Kaizen Foam. And it's something pretty interesting that I came across on Amazon and through another video. But what this is Kaizen Foam actually peels away in layers. So it's maybe hard to tell from the angle that you're viewing this at right now in this block of Kaizen Foam that I have, but there's individual layers, and it's almost like a, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something that has layers and peels apart, but anyway, so each one of those layers can peel just like so. So you can see that I was able to just peel apart that block right there just by pulling it up in the corner. So think of that on, a gun case, where what you do is you trace around with a Sharpie or something like that, which I'll talk about an even better option in a second. But you'd trace around with that, and then you'd cut out your initial shape, maybe into the first or second layer of this foam, and then you basically kind of carve out or dig out with your finger the actual contour of the profile of whatever you're cutting into. And I'll demonstrate that in a second on a piece of this, but I wanted to talk through it first and kind of show you what I'm doing with this case. So as you can see, I've got the 6.5 Creedmoor in here, along with the accessories that I think I'm going to need with this. And this is my little fake insert for the size that my dead air suppressor is going to be. I'm getting the Sandman S, that's the small size Sandman, and it measures about 6.8 inches, and it's about 1.5 inches in diameter. So this is my test piece to see where I'm going to position the suppressor at. But I think I'm going to wait until I actually get all that stuff in, or get the suppressor back before I actually custom cut the case. I'm not sure how I'm going to handle that yet, but the other thing too is I'm waiting on my 6.5 ammo to come in. I've got some 140 grain 6.5 Creedmoor from Hornady that's coming in. So it's a Hornady 140 grain ELD, extreme long distance ammo, that's coming in. So these boxes that I have are from my 175 grain gold medal match 308 ammo. But what I'm thinking about doing is dropping these like so I can carry ammo with me, which, as I've been traveling for matches and other things, I found that I need to take ammo with me, and the best way to do that is within the same case that the gun's in too. So the FAA is okay with that as long as it's still in the original package and it's secured. So it can travel with the gun as long as you're not loading magazines and things like that. So what I'm thinking about is running about 150 rounds of ammo just like this. So I think that's what I can feasibly get in here. So you've got kind of a stack of 3 boxes of 20, 2 boxes of 20, 2 boxes of 20. And I think the gun's going to work out okay in this position. I've kind of done up the sling here. This is that rifles only sling that I've talked about before, but put a rigger's rubber band around that and put that in the case like that. And then I've detached the bipod, and I'm going to store it kind of on its side like this. And then I've also got a cleaning rod. This is a Dewey cleaning rod, and it's a coated cleaning rod too, so it doesn't damage the barrel, but I'm going to try to fit that in there as well. So this is kind of the configuration that I thought about putting together. And I'm still not sold on anything yet, but I wanted to just briefly kind of take this stuff out to show you what I was able to do with that Kaizen foam in this as well. So if I remove all this stuff here, I can show you a little more about that. So I had to cut this in 2 pieces because the Kaizen foam comes in a 2x4 sheet. So it wasn't long enough for this case. This case measures longer than 4 feet. So I was kind of stuck here with what to do, and I actually decided to cut 2 pieces. So the way that this foam fits in this case is it's contoured a little bit too. So I actually added a slight bevel onto the foam just by cutting it a certain way. It's kind of a happy accident. I really didn't mean to do that. Kind of wound up with a funky cut based on the utility knife I was using. But so this particular case had 3 of these foam inserts, so we took the first 2 out and used this. So this is I think 2¼ inches. This is the box that Kaizen foam came in. So yeah, 2¼ inches is the actual depth on the foam, just so you know. It does come in other depths, so it comes in 7/8 of an inch and 1 1/8 of an inch. So this is great for toolboxes too, and as you'll see with this kind of peel and pluck design I'll show you, you can put this in a toolbox and put all your tools in there so they don't roll around too. But so I had to cut a second piece here, and that's why I wanted to show you this, is because that Kaizen foam made it really easy to just come in here and kind of pluck away the layers to create that custom shape to fit around the wheels in the back of this case. So I was able to kind of put that together just like so, and it really wasn't too bad at all as far as the time and labor that went into making that work. But I wanted to just show you that first, just so you kind of had a good idea of how Kaizen foam worked. And then I actually wanted to show you an actual example here. So this is a utility knife that a company called FastCap makes, as well as this thing called a long nose pattern marker. And this is really the thing that helps the most when you're doing something like this. So if I was going to trace around this object, that long nose pattern marker will allow me to get right onto that shape and the contour around the object itself. So it's really great for that application. And it's black too, which helps. So now you can see the shape that I've drawn on the foam itself, and I'll use this same utility knife. And what's great about this utility knife is it's long, so it can actually cut all the way through that 2¼ inches if you're tracing stuff. So and it's very easy to cut through, almost like butter. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to only go down so far, which the blade's great at that too because it adjusts to different levels. The reflection's kind of messing with me here. Hang on a second. Adjust to different levels so you can kind of set the height or depth that you want the blade to actually cut, which is great too. Okay, so now that we have the first layer cut, I'll show you it's pretty easy to just come in here and dig this out. I mean, that makes pretty short work of that stuff, and that's just the first layer of that foam. So obviously that's not going to fit completely, so what I'm going to do is kind of continue on the depth here. Just make sure I've got enough depth to keep going with pulling this foam out. again, like I said, super easy to work with, which is one of the reasons I like this so much. All right, so we'll keep going here. And you don't really necessarily have to continue cutting down like I did either. You can just pick it right out, but I like to make sure that my edges are kind of defined as I work down. So now you can see that that's pretty in there, and it holds it pretty securely too. And that's what the inside looks like of that. So you can see what we picked out, and you know, there's kind of no limit to what you can do with this stuff. The depth is really determined by how far down you want to go into the layers. And you know, you can see that with things that might go in a toolbox, you might not need 2 1/4 inches in depth in Kaizen foam. You'd probably get away with the 7/8 inch piece or the 1 1/4. So again, Kaizen foam, this is a utility blade, and this is a long nose pattern marker. So I'm going to link to all this stuff below in the description of this for gear tasting. So if you want to pick up any of these things, you'll have the direct links to them on Amazon. We also have an Amazon affiliate program, and you know, if you guys want to use those links to purchase, it would help support gear tasting as well. So the next thing I want to talk about is just grabbing a random bin off the shelf, and okay, so it's not so random. I wanted to go over the breaching bin because Rob posted an Instagram post on that the other day, and you can see there's really not much in the breaching bin. It's kind of a joke rather than actual breaching bin. But there was something interesting I wanted to go over. This is these Fox grenades, this fog. We went over this before, and it was how to make a quick release on one of these things. And that's on a previous gear tasting. We'll link to that too, so you can check that out if you're interested. But the other things that are in here are some official Ninja caltrops. Don't go anywhere without your official Ninja caltrops. So tire runs over those and you're dead. Just kidding. It's to stop ninjas. Then the other thing is something interesting I picked up a while back that I've been messing around with, and it's folding bolt cutters. I thought that was kind of an interesting concept. I added some shock cord to the bottom of these. I don't think I've gone over this on gear tasting before. I have? God, shit. Anyway, folding bolt cutters, if you haven't seen them, check them out. They're pretty interesting. I like the fact that they can be folded up and, you know, use some shock cord to secure them, and it's just a smaller form factor. And then I guess I've gone over this before too. It's a concertina wire cutter, so it's made by Gerber. I picked this up on eBay. I've always been interested in these things, and I'd seen one years ago, but you can find these used from time to time on eBay. So if you're interested in cutting fencing, this is a great thing to use. All right, guys, let's do a question over coffee. Just one today. This comes from Jason Chris 1. It says, I've got an extra Cobra buckle. I'd like... Who wrote this? I've got an extra Cobra buckle. I'd like a belt or something cool. Oh, any ideas for belt material or other uses? So, for those unfamiliar with a Cobra buckle, this is a Cobra buckle. It's a very heavy-duty buckle that's been used in the industry, probably going on, I'd say 8-9 years now, maybe something like that. But they're made by a company named Austro-Alpin out of Austria, and they're very heavy duty. They're used in a lot of industries, not just the tactical industry, but they've actually got, you know, a KN rating here on the buckle. I love these things. They're great. They're now coming in tactical colors. This is an older 215 gear belt that I've had for quite a while that I reviewed many years ago on ITS. But just wanted to give you an example of what one was. So these things can be pretty expensive, and that's because of the Cobra buckle costs. They're actually fairly expensive for just the buckle itself. There's probably $30, $40 just in the buckle alone on a belt like this. So, you know, Jason's wondering, hey, I can salvage the Cobra buckle. What can I do with it? So I started trying to think. Rob and I were both thinking of what you could do with one, and there's really not a whole lot you can do other than taking that to a custom gear manufacturer and having them add it into something or build a belt for you. If you find some place that can do custom belts, that's an option for them. You know, I was thinking slings. This is a rifles only sling that I have that I really like for precision rifle, but they have one of the newer style plastic Cobra buckles. These were done with ITW, so this is an ITW Cobra buckle that they licensed the design from Austro-Alpin for. So this is a polymer version. Obviously, these are much less expensive than, you know, $30, $40 for a buckle. That's why, you know, these have been successful on their own in the tactical market. But that's an option too. You know, if you want a quick detach on a sling, you could always send off your favorite sling to a custom manufacturer. Maybe they could add on or add in a Cobra buckle for you into something like that. But other than, you know, actually coming up with your own design of a piece of kit to get built with that extra Cobra buckle, those are my suggestions. Maybe you guys out there have some suggestions for Jason. So if you guys have some ideas of what you could do with a spare Cobra buckle, leave them in the comments and maybe Jason will appreciate it. Saw something cool just a second ago that I wanted to show you guys with this Kaizen foam. So those layers that are in here, I can actually take my little index card here. Use that to peel through the layer. Kind of neat. So anyway, just shows kind of the versatility of this Kaizen foam, and as you can tell, I really like this stuff. Thanks for watching Gear Tasting. Remember to use the pound tag Gear Tasting on any social media network, and we'll answer your questions right here on the show. Most of them. Some of them we don't answer, but it is what it is. If you like what we're doing here on Gear Tasting, please consider joining our Crew Leader membership, linked below in the description, and allow us to give you back something in return. Thanks for watching.